So my opponent then addressed my question, what he meant by a ban, but then he went on to say that he would require a background check and make it 21 years of over to purchase this weapon, but I thought he wanted to ban this weapon, so I don't see what he's trying to do there. And then he was talking about he wants to do this at a federal level, and again, there's no database to see who owns these weapons or anything, so I don't see how that's going to be possible if they want to register all of these guns. And then you're proposed the question, is it constitutional? And it's likely what's going to happen if this were to be implemented. And in the latest case in 2008, Heller in DC, Justice Miller and Scalia both agreed, and this is a quote from Justice Miller saying, "The Second Amendment for weapons in common use at the time." And that's what he's referring to, the validity of the Second Amendment for these guns. And I'm guessing the opposition would state that this is not a common use at the time, but the AR-15 is the most popular rifle in the United States. So to say that it is not in common use at the time is simply false. And then Justice Scalia later backed this up in some of his briefs. He then mentioned how a private business then banned sales of AR-15s in his company, which he has every right to do, except Dick's Sporting Goods did this actually 5 years ago after the Newtown incident, and they're simply doing this for publicity to get more media attention because the media will prop them up because they fit their agenda. So, I'd then like to say that he then referred to Australia actually as a good example of this, but I'd like to mention that in Australia, there are about 660,000 firearms, which they actually confiscated and destroyed. But here in America, there is more firearms than there are people in the United States, with estimates of about 350 million firearms in the United States. So I have no idea how he plans to do that. And referring just to assault rifles, or assault weapons, excuse me, that makes up, again, 20 to 30 million according to the National Shooting Foundation. I'd just like to point out, if we were to take this approach with anything else, for instance, drunk driving, I'd like to point out there are 28 times more people die from drunk driving than gun violence from an assault weapon. So my question to him is, would we ban alcohol or ban cars? I mean, alcohol at least doesn't have any real social benefit, but ARs clearly do after how many people they have defended. And again, I'd also like to point out that out of 36,000 approximately gun deaths in the United States, only 322 of those were from these banned weapons that he wants to pursue. And he then claims that this ban actually did work previously, but he stated that gun crime went down 18%, but in reality, that 18% with assault weapons, except assault weapons only made up 1% of the total gun deaths. So if you're going to be referring to 18% of 1%, again, it's really statistically invalid according to many scientists. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you.